I casually found out my uncle has a secret son for more than 40 years. My family is very close and I have this uncle Jeremy who has helped me before when I moved to another state for college and he offered his house to spend the weekends, but after a while I stopped going because he and his wife were very condescending and I found out they were bad-mouthing behind my back to my family. At the time I didn't think they were bad people, but Jeremy's wife, Helen, has some narcissistic traits and their life must be perfect all the time and they don't like people who stain this image. They have one son and one daughter who are both adults and living their own lives. Uncle Jeremy used to be very close to his sisters, my mothers and aunts, offering financial help when needed, but after he got married Helen disapproved and he goes low contact till today. One perfect day he got a message from a young man on Facebook asking if he is his father. Uncle blocks without answering, but the man, John, started messaging everyone on the family. He freaked out and said to ignore this man. That's when my Aunt Anna received the same message. Then John got a lawyer, and I don't know how exactly it went, but he just wanted to be recognized on paper, to stop being a nobody's son. John tried to reassure several times he wasn't after money, he just wanted to know more about his family. Jeremy signed the papers against his will and refused to talk with John. At around this time my uncle had a cardiac arrest on his son's wedding day. Talk about bad luck. I remember that day, but I was a child. Helen is freaking out for many reasons besides her husband's health because 1, her son's perfect wedding was ruined and 2, if Jeremy's dies, will John come looking for heritage? At this point my Aunt Anna was exchanging messages with John and she wanted to know more about this story. Apparently years before Uncle Jeremy met his wife, around the 1980s he went to another state in a work trip where he decided to hang out with a maid. He got her pregnant and he came back home while she tried to raise a son being poor and alone. She tried to put her son for adoption but her parents didn't allow it. So little John was raised by his grandparents, who tried to make it very clear since the beginning that 1, he is a nobody's son, not even his father wanted him so he's lucky to have them, usually told during belt disciplining sessions, and 2, living is not free, he had to work to pay for his meals. When he was 17 his grandparents decided he was too much of a burden and put him in some kind of orphanage, filled with young thieves and teenagers involved in drug traffickings. That's also where he met a priest, and that man was like a father for him, who told him to stay away from bad people. Long short story, he got his first real job at 18 and he got married to a wonderful woman who had a daughter already. John was telling this story about how hard it was for him to create a bond with the girl because her biological father would show up from time to time with gifts and she had this idea that stepfather was the annoying one and bio father was the best. Until one day they got into a fight whilst he was disciplining her and she said, "You don't even have a father, I know what I'm talking about. I'll live with bio father," and she left to live with him. That was a low blow but he decided to allow her to leave after talking to her mother. John said 1 week later she showed up at their door and apologized, saying she would like to live with them again. And they became like father and daughter after that. Nowadays John is around 40s and he has 3 daughters, 2 bio, 1 stepdaughter, all adults and went to college. My Aunt Anna and her sister Maria were very excited to meet him but the COVID pandemic hit around the time they were planning their trip. Recently my Aunt Anna was diagnosed with leukemia, some kind of chronic type, and her sister Maria has a big aneurysm close to the aorta artery so they started to talk about going visit John again because they are around 70 years old and are not going to last much. I totally think they should. Uncle Jeremy would have another heart attack if he knew though lol. My Aunt Anna also spoke with Helen something along the lines, "Don't you dare attempt to remove John from the will," although John has stated he is fine without it. She told me the whole story 1 month ago, after I went to pay her a visit after the leukemia diagnostic, hence the title. One can say life is unfair based on what happened to John and I agree, but Helen and Jeremy are not a happy couple. They had a nasty argument once when I was staying with them and Helen confided me she is not getting a divorce, for the children, who are adults. I'm pretty sure her biggest reason is to keep the perfect family image. John on the other hand seems to have beat every odd against his conditions, poor, bastard son, abandoned. And has a happy family. Edit. I see some of you think it's AI generated and my writing self-esteem took a blow lol, but seriously. You think it's AI? Please don't insult AI. It's a wonderful tool created by professionals, and I'm pretty sure if I had asked ChatGPT to rewrite my story it would have come out as more believable. Also, if it were fake I would have written Jeremy's death, and Helen freaking out while John would have gotten his part. Also Aunt Anna miraculous recovery and a heartwarming family reunion. And everybody held hands together and sang, "We Are the World."